Welcome to Knox Community Schools podcast, telling our story. Welcome to another podcast for Knox Community Schools. I am your host, Mr. Mick, Superintendent at Knox Community Schools. Our podcast aims to share important school information and highlight the success stories of our students, staff, and families at Knox. Through enhanced communication, we strive to positively impact our students and the broader community. Through enhanced communication, we strive to tell our story, which is the name of this podcast. Please check out on our website, underneath podcasts, our previous episodes, which was with Miss Kathy Berg, our health and science teacher, Mr. Minix, our athletic director, and Miss Sarah Richard, our high school counselor. We would like to wish all of our spring extracurricular activities the best of luck as they are kicking off. Also, the musical, Mamma Mia, is on April 25th, 26th, and 27th in the Knox Auditorium. Please stop by and check out that great performance. Also, Teacher Appreciation Week is the week of May 5th through 9th. And just a reminder, last day of school for students is May 30th, and graduation is June 6th. Time is flying. Mrs. H, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, So, first of all, thank you very much for joining us today. Mrs. H, she's been the applied skills teacher at Knox High School for 10 years. She is a proud graduate of Knox High School, attended WGU, Indiana, where she double majored in elementary education and special education, graduated from WGU, Indiana with a Bachelor's of Science in Special Education, and also earned a Master's in Curriculum and Instruction through WGU, Indiana. She is currently pursuing a Master's in Educational Leadership through WGU, Indiana. After obtaining her bachelor's in special education, she went on to earn her certification in intense interventions from IUPUI. So very good. We're excited to have you on today.
I'm excited to join you.
Before we get into some of our content here, just tell us a little bit about you and your hobbies and things that you enjoy.
So I am born and raised here in Knox, Indiana. I graduated from Knox in 99. My students tell me I'm a million years old, especially when they see my picture in the comments. My parents both graduated from Knox, so we have a nice little root community, and I'm proud to be raising my own family here. I have two daughters. Cassie is a junior at IU Bloomington, pursuing history education.
Excellent.
And she got married in December. So my son-in-law, Nathan, he's in the Army, and he's currently overseas right now. And so we're all wishing him good luck and safety over there. And then my youngest, Melissa, she's a 9th grader here at Knox. And she has no idea what she wants to do. And I told her we don't have a basement, so you can't be one of those basement kids. And then Mr. H, my husband Patrick, he is originally from Fort Wayne. So talk about culture shock when I told him, you have to live here with me. I love to learn, as you could tell by all my lovely degrees I have. I just have a thirst for knowledge. Hobbies, I love to read, cook. Baking is my favorite. I love to bake. And just spending time with my family and my kiddos, because my kiddos in my classroom are my family away from home. So I love to go see like the Special Olympics events and stuff, because a lot of my kiddos are in Special Olympics. Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations on the wedding. That's a huge step in life. So congratulations there. And rolling into your classroom, you mentioned family, right? Mm-hmm. And I walk in there, and that's exactly what I feel when I walk in. You feel that family environment. I love the way that your classroom is set up. I always see kids moving. I see them doing projects. I see them working on something. I really enjoy spending time in your class. Talk about that family just a little bit. So we're a family. My kiddos come to me usually between ages 14 and 15, and they can stay with me until they're 22. So they're with me for the long haul. And so I tell them, we're a family, and we have to be a family because we're together all day. And we're together for multiple years. And so, just like a family, they do have their little squabbles and stuff like that. And I always tell them when we're taking pictures, we're a family, act like you love each other. Mm-hmm. But it's just very important that we have that bond, because we're working on those important interpersonal relationship skills, because I want them to be able to go out into the environment or out into the world and be able to interact with others in a nice, friendly, appropriate manner.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we're a family. And just like a family, they have chores. And I do give them allowances for their chores. And we do a class store, and they're always looking forward to it every 2 weeks. You know, you get paid every 2 weeks. And so they can do the class store. Pringles is a hot commodity.
Pringles, yes.
In my store. And so those are priced pretty high, and they're like complaining about the price. And I'm like, well, y'all keep buying me out of them. And so, you know, and then that also the family aspect is, you know, we all have to work as a family. You know, when you're out with your own families, you have to play a part, and you have to assist, and you have to help your family, and you have to have grace for those that, yeah, you might not get along with everybody, but you have to learn how to. So that's why, and we're always about being kind to each other. And the whole high school student bodies kind of picked up that family atmosphere with me. And they always are looking out for my kiddos. And like if we're at lunch and one of my kiddos just seems down, they'll come tell me, hey, so-and-so looks like he's having a bad day. I just wanted to let you know. And I truly appreciate that the student body's kind of picking up on that family atmosphere.
And we're going to talk about that mentoring program here in a second. But give me a little makeup of your classroom. How many students? What schools are they from? Give me a little makeup there.
So currently I service in my classroom 11 students, and they are from, currently right now I have Knox kiddos and Judson kiddos. Now in the past I've had OD kiddos, and I'm not saying I'm not going to have OD kiddos, so I include them. And then my kiddos range from autism to an orthopedic impairment, OHI, which is other health impairment, or an intellectual disability. And so we have just a huge, big makeup, and so it kind of makes us, that helps with our crazy family atmosphere too, because everybody's learning how to tolerate everybody that's different. And they're also learning that, oh, well, he might have autism and I have autism, but his autism is different than my autism. So he's not going to learn things the same way I do.
Very good. Very good. And one of the things we want to talk about was that mentoring program today. And this is kind of near and dear to my heart also. I've been in different schools that have this program. I think yours is amazing. My oldest at Lowell, they actually have a mentoring program there. And because of that program, he's actually thinking about going into a teacher for special education.
Nice.
So I know the value that this mentoring program has. I've heard a lot of good compliments from parents,
Yes.
about this. So highlight this program for us.
So when I first started way back in 2015 in my classroom, they had the peer tutoring program, and a lot of it was just kiddos just taking it to get an easy credit. And so I'm like, no, we're revamping this. And so we call it peer buddies, because I'm like, you're buddies. You're not tutoring them. You're buddies. You guys are going through life together. And so we have an amazing student council who, those kiddos love my kiddos, and so we do a lot of things with them. So the student council kiddos are my peer buddy kiddos, and they come in and they work side by side with the kiddos, and they understand that just because they have a disability does not mean they're not a normal teenager. And so that's huge. Part of my peer buddy program is you see the ability, not the label. And so they take my kids out everywhere. They go on field trips with us. They take my kids, they help them with vocational tasks. They help them when they're out in the hall doing their physical therapy. They'll set up obstacle courses for them and stuff like that. And then it's got to the point where when we do our community-based learning outings, they all want to go. So I have to put their names in a hat and draw their names. And it just makes me feel good to know that they're all like, hey, can we go? Because they want to go hang out with their buddy. They're not seeing it as I'm getting out of school for the day. They're seeing it as I get to go hang out with my buddy in a different environment. And my kiddos are always so excited when the buddies walk in. They greet them by name. They're just super excited that they're coming in. And then if the kiddos see their buddies in the hall, the buddies are always, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? And just treating them like they treat anybody else in the building. And so that's my huge thing about the Peer Buddy program is just kids working with kids. And I love the fact that I can trust the buddies to, if I say, hey, I need you to do this with the kiddo, like they were doing a vocational task and one was rolling silverware. The buddies have my kiddos teach them how to do it, because my kiddos are like, dude, you can't do that. You'd get fired. But they're willing to learn from my kiddos along with help my kiddos. So we love the Peer Buddy program, and we're so thankful to the KHS Student Council kiddos for wanting to, like, I have to turn them down. That's how many people want to come in, and I don't have enough kiddos for them to come in.
I think one of the awesome things, it's so cool to see that live and in action in your classroom or at the lunchtime. But I've seen this out of school. I've seen it at football games, at basketball games. I've seen this relationship and this connection that your students and the buddies have together, and it extends outside the school day.
Oh, yeah. I have a kiddo that is on the golf team, and a couple of the buddies were bored one night, and so they went to his golf match.
Isn't that cool?
And they were like cheering him on and stuff. And then I got an email from them, hey, he did so good, and telling me how impressed they were with him. And he was so embarrassed that they were there. But he appreciated them being there, but he's kind of like, but he was like smiling from ear to ear when they were congratulating him on his score when he came in the next morning.
Yeah. And that, that's why I love this podcast, because these stories need to get out there of the great things that our kids are doing this every day. And sometimes the community doesn't see these things.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I think another huge event that you guys partner on is your ugly sweater party at Christmas time.
Yes.
This is a huge event. It's a day. It's a ton of fun. But talk about who comes and those events.
So my first year, I went to a Halloween dance hosted by Plymouth High School for other special ed classes. And I'm like, we could do this. And so I went into my admin, and I'm like, hey, I want to do an ugly sweater party because I love Christmas. My dad loved Christmas. And I'm thinking she's going to tell me, no, we got to wait till next year. And she's like, well, yeah, we can do this. Now, mind you, this is the very end of October. And I'm like, oh, snap. But it has just grown. And I think we are on like our 10th, this year will be our 11th ugly sweater party. And every year it just grows and grows and grows. And we have community members have been donating to help us promote this program. And student council, like the peer buddies in my room. So that's a unit, it's a unit on how to plan a party. And so we make all the decorations and everything, all the kids hands-on in the room. And so we have our friends from Rochester High School, Argus, Bremen, LaVille, Plymouth, Culver, and then sometimes Winnemac are up here just hanging out with us. And then our middle school will come. And then this year, our elementary kiddos came because we're trying to be mentoring with them too. And they just had a blast. And that just makes it for me. It's just like, oh my gosh. Well,
and thank you for having that vision for our students. I was in there walking around. You got kids in the middle. They're all dancing to the music and having a good time. Yep. And it's really something special to see, when you're there.
And the schools look forward to it.
Absolutely.
And they know it's always the first Friday of December. We're kicking off the holiday season. And I'll even send out in August to save the date. And they're like, oh, we already have it on our calendar. And I'm like, amazing.
Tradition.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, one other thing we want to highlight is your Paws for Pals pet shop. This is something that was featured on WNDU. And also the Awesome Foundation out of South Bend, kind of a Shark Tank environment. So tell us about that.
So we have Paws and Pals Pet Shop. When COVID hit, it shut down our vocational program. The kiddos used to go with a job skills coach over to Ancilla into job skills. Well, COVID hit, we had no vocational program. So then I'm like, okay, we have to get those important employability job skills going. So I'm like, you know what? Everybody has dogs. We tried cat treats. We still haven't found the right recipe for that yet, but we're trying. But I'm like, everybody has a furry friend. So the kiddos make them. We make the dog treats. the kiddos package them. So they're getting all those important skills. They're reading recipes, they're counting. So not only are we including vocational skills in there, we're doing our math, our English, all those skills in there. And so to start Paws and Pals Pet Shop, because I'm like, okay, I need money. I need a nice mixer and all this stuff. So the Awesome Foundation out of South Bend, I had previously gotten a grant through them to help restock our kitchen because we had no forks and stuff like that. And so they were like dying. They're like, really? You guys have no forks? And I'm like, yeah. So I knew about them because I went to a PD over the summer a couple of years ago, and the one teacher, she's like, yeah, I went through the Awesome Foundation and they gave me $1,000 for my chemistry room. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, you walk right out with $1,000. I'm like, well, this is interesting. So I did Paws and Pals for this, and we got up there. It was really cool. It was just this little group of people, and it's kind of like a Shark Tank environment because there were 6 of us, and we had to get up and you had to give a presentation. So we had a slideshow and all this stuff, and you had 5 minutes to sell yourself. And then they all kind of like the Awesome Foundation people go and kind of deliberate, and then they come out and say, okay, well, here's the winners. And 3 of us walk away with $1,000 each in hand. And what was really cool, it was kind of like a full circle moment because one of the founders on the Awesome Foundation board, his son was just born with Down syndrome. So he's like, oh my gosh, I love this. And I hope my son's school has a program like this. And he goes, you guys, I just had to give it to you guys. And I'm like, this is amazing. So that was my seed. That's what got us started. And then I had applied for the Martin's One School at a Time grant with WNDU. Totally forgot I had applied for it, because I had applied for it before and we didn't get a bite or anything. So I'm like, oh, okay. And they called us and they're like, hey, you've been selected and Tricia Sloma's going to come in and we're going to video you guys. And we want to watch you guys make these treats. And, prior to then, the kiddos are like, ugh, we have to make dog treats again. Well, then when they found out that they were going to be on TV, they're like, oh, we get to make dog treats. And so they loved it. They thought they were movie stars, rock stars. They just loved it. And that really helped our business too, because the community was like, whoa, we have this amazing program. And then later on, the Awesome Foundation partnered up with the Business Foundation of South Bend, and they were doing kind of like a Shark Tank pitch contest, and you could win up to $3,000 then. Well, out of 137 people that had applied, I hadn't applied, and they emailed me, hey, you need to apply. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't see why I'm applying, but okay. And we were selected. Only 13 people were selected to go into this pitch contest. Thank you. And unfortunately, we didn't win, but we made lots of connections with different business owners and stuff like that. So usually we used to do, like every week we would do an order. But then the business kind of fizzed out. So now we're like around Christmas, we'll do a flash sale. And so next year we're hoping to get it picked back up. This year it's just been kind of crazy. So next year we're hoping to pick Paws and Pals back up.
I always love those projects that we do that involves the community. Anytime we can get those in, it is awesome. So Ms. H, thank you very much for coming. I think this was very enlightening for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And to our listeners, thank you again for listening to another Telling Our Story podcast. Our goal is to do one podcast a week, highlighting the amazing accomplishments our students and staff are doing. Thank you for listening to Knox Community Schools podcast, Telling Our Story.